It's called Dolphin's Tale. Two little eyes, barely reaching the table. A woman's hands, old but strong, pummeling dough. The large silver dish wobbling, dancing to the beat of her fists. Each lump flattened, rolled in perfect circles. Flip-flop, flip-flop, hot off the primes, those steaming butter ghee rotis. My Aji, Ayagogo Nana, maternal grandmother, the sari-clad matriarch, bejeweled, nose ring, earrings, thick hanging bangles, tattooed forearms, and the letter of her surname on the back of each of her fingers, on the left hand, Gopie, was a roti-making pâtissière. She half sang, half giggled. This is going to cause it down. She half sang, half giggled. Bombay se आया मेरा दोस्त को सलाम करो रात को खाओ पियो दिन को रोटी बनो. My guests have arrived from afar. I greet them lovingly. In the night time we eat and make merry, while in the day I make the food and rotis ready. There was always one little bit of dough remaining, too little to be made into a full roti. So those hands crafted a shape. Sometimes a dog, sometimes a horse, but most times a dolphin. And when it was done, one extra smidgen of butter. For you, my grandchild. Look, Ma made me a dolphin roti again. Here's the tail, here's the fin, and here's the long round nose. First I chomp on the dolphin tail, then the body, and finally the head, taking the butter off my fingers. I got older, I went to school, and Margie still made me dolphin rotis. So I asked, Margie, why do you love dolphins so much? Yeah, how did my illiterate grandmother, who had never been to school or sailed on the ocean, learn about dolphins? She stopped, looked me seriously in the eye. I am daughter of Dolphin. Huh? Okay, whatever that meant. Margie died in 1990, the year after my matric. It was the end of an era, end of the dolphin rotis. Then one morning, 4 decades later, I woke up thinking, if my grandmother was the daughter of a dolphin, wouldn't that make me the great-grandson of a dolphin? I had to find my missing tail, to follow it, wherever it led me. First, from the Bay of Durban, 7,800 kilometers to the Bay of Bengal. Then 1,800 kilometers inland, northwest along the Ganges, into the heart of the rugged Chambal Valley, one of the most rural places in North India. And finally, to a rustic village in 1888, where a humble wedding was taking place. You see, matriarch Dolphin, that is my father's mother's mother, was not very large to begin with. She was tiny, in fact, 6 years old when she was married. A sleepy-eyed pod placed before her throat, equally sleepy-eyed, wheezing, and aged 7. With his little finger, he placed a red dot on her little forehead, and she became his wife, and he her husband. They had never met before, though after the wedding, they went out and played with the other children. The elders ate their meals and rejoiced at the union. Then afterwards, the two families parted. Dolphin was only to enter the home of her betrothed when she reached the age of 12, puberty not before, a condition firmly stipulated by her father, and for which the groom's family demanded the dowry paid in advance. It cost the man most of his livestock, but it was all or nothing. No further discussion was brokered, lest he risked humiliation. The seasons changed, and Dolphin barely remembered that day the sick boy who came to play with her and her friends. Then one evening, 4 years on, just as dusk set in, and the family were returning from the fields, singing happily, and looking forward to the evening meal, they were met by a relative from the The boy, your son-in-law, has died of illness. His lungs can no longer support his life. Lord Namraj, the god of death, has taken him early. Our family expect all rituals to be observed in keeping with our caste and clan traditions. Dolphin did not comprehend the gravity of this visit, but her mother did. It was as if the air had changed in that instant. "Come," said Dolphin's mother, grabbing her by the arm, hurrying her back to the house. "Undress." Mother then brought a dish of water from the well and bathed her clean. Dolphin reached for her clothes, saying, "No!" shouted Mother. "You can never wear those clothes again. It all must be burned, and these as well." She reached and removed her daughter's nose ring, earrings, and bangles. Tears rolled down the 10-year-old's cheeks, wondering what she had done wrong. Mother then dragged an old trunk from under the bed, and from inside produced a white sari, which she rolled out in front of her and sized out the length of her child's body. Using her teeth, she tore the sari in half and draped the 10-year-old Dolphin in white. Dolphin complained, "Why, Mother? The other children will laugh at me. Only old women wear white." "I'm sorry, child. You are a widow now. You can only wear white from here on. And never let your shadow fall on others. Will you remember that?" Life went on, except now people avoided Dolphin and kept their children away. Dolphin came to despise the color white. She hated that on religious festivals she couldn't wear brightly colored clothes like the other children. She was only allowed white. And she could no longer have friends except for her father and her brothers. She made up games to play on her own. One of them was to study her shadow in the sun, and then run as fast as she could, stop and look down again. "Go away, shadow, nobody likes you. Leave this place, you are bad luck." Then, in the winter of 1894, a man arrived in a donkey cart. Dolphin was drying chilies on a grass mat. She watched from a distance as the man talked with her father, and from their body language there was some disagreement between them. After a while they stopped and looked over at her. Dolphin felt strangely. Her mother then emerged from the hut, and she too talked with the man. Then her father raised his hand and gestured, calling her over. Dolphin walked slowly, her heart thumping with each step. "Ha, Baba." "Yes, Father." "This is your father-in-law. The time has come, you have to go now." His sunburned face could not look her in the eye. Dolphin looked to her mother, the woman's face green in her sari. Dolphin broke into a sweat. The 12-year-old spoke out. "Why do I have to go? The boy is dead." "I'm sorry, child," Mother sobbed. "After marriage, you belong to them. We only borrowed you back." Dolphin turned to her father, the man's gaze on his feet. The father-in-law grew impatient. "It is not up to you to question our traditions. Your father should have explained all of this." No one spoke for a while, all unsure what to do next. The donkey swished its tail, snorted and thumped its hooves into the sand, it too seemingly irritated by the silence. Yet Dolphin knew this day would come, even if she didn't admit it. Eventually, the father-in-law spoke again. "It is a long trip ahead. We must leave as soon as possible." Dolphin stood her ground. "We don't want the dowry back. Baba, tell the man to leave." And she reached for her father's hand. He pulled away. "I refuse to go," she shouted at her father's back. "I refuse to go." Manipal Ram swung around and slapped his daughter hard across the face. Dolphin hit the ground, shocked. Tears rolled. She had never been struck before. He then grabbed her by the shoulders and steered her away from earshot. He bent to meet her face so close, Dolphin could examine the bristles of his moustache. In a low voice, "Please, the dignity of our family, my beloved child. If you don't go, we will be shamed. We will not be able to find wives for your brothers. There is no other way." He then straightened up and walked away, the words at war with a stabbing pain in his heart. And so, With the few meager belongings allowed a widow, Dolphin was packed and placed at the back of the cart. Her father-in-law raised his whip, and the donkey kicked into stride. Dolphin's two brothers, Jairam and Hiram, ran alongside trying to hold on to their sister's hand. But they, when they finally ran out of breath, like the mud-hutted village, disappeared out of sight. The journey to a new home was long and hard. They arrived in the dark. No welcoming reception awaited, only the sound of crickets and the moaning of oxen. The next morning, Dolphin stood before her in-laws. The whole clan, maybe 20 or more pairs of eyes, stared at her. Her mother-in-law finally stepped forward. "You have lived a charmed life, Bahu. You look well fed for a widow." No welcome in her voice. "I hear they didn't want to send you." Dolphin kept her eyes on the ground. Guilt, you see. Her family knew all along she was a Manglik, yet they forced this marriage on us and killed my son. The sobs invited a female kin to offer their comfort. Manglik? One that is born under an ominous planet whose spouse is likely to die early? Dolphin was shocked to hear such a blatant untruth. The mother-in-law unshackled herself from the arms of her comforter and pressed on. A seer from across the river told us afterwards this marriage is a deception. We have suffered terribly. Your father is a liar. He concealed your Manglik status. Now so much bad luck on my family. Dolphin wanted to defend the family's honor, to say, "It was y'all that pushed for the match, demanded the dowry be paid in full, and that 6 years in advance. You are the guilty ones of deception, knowing full well the boy was sickly and would not live long." What she did say, though, was, "Respected mother-in-law, my father has never deceived anyone, nor am I a Manglik. This is simply not true. It wasn't us that forced the marriage with the sick boy." The subtext was not lost on the family. "She comes here with manners of a jackal. She must be taught her place, this Manglik. She's bad luck, this widow." It soon became obvious why Dolphin had been brought here. The family had fallen on hard times, outstanding loans to moneylenders and the like. Why waste money on servants when a widowed daughter-in-law can work for free? Here, Dolphin was a blob of white, running between the fields and the house, working tirelessly, feeding animals, fetching water, washing clothes, cleaning the house. She moved about silently, doing her best to keep her shadow to herself. And at night, while she slept on the cow-dung floor, she fed on scraps and often went hungry. "A deceiver cannot stand as a fattened goat before God," laughed her mother-in-law. Witch, cursed, Manglik, followed her everywhere she went, and she was beaten for the slightest of transgressions, stealing a little grain, taking too long on chores, spilling milk a little too long in the toilet. Even for her childhood pursuit, drawing animals in the sand. "This is witchcraft," wept her mother-in-law, again finding animal drawings in the sand. "She's conjuring omens to kill me. Look how I'm suffering." Dolphin was exercised with a donkey whip. In the 3 years she had been there, her father, Manu Balram, came to visit twice. Sadly, he was given a very poor reception and only allowed a few minutes with his daughter, and that under the steely eyes of the in-laws. Seated under the banyan tree in the yard. "How are you, my child, daughter-in-law of this house?" He barely recognized his daughter's emaciated frame. "I'm fine, father," she replied softly from under the veil of a sigh. White sigh, holding back tears. "Your mother and brothers miss you. They send their wishes. Please send them mine." She wanted to run to him, as she had done in childhood, but, "Arey Bahu, you can't stand your whole day and talk stories. Go and make your father a cup of tea and bring him a meal. He has a long journey ahead." In her absence, the in-laws listed Dolphin's many faults, an indirect manner of insulting the man and his family for raising a daughter so poorly. Despite the very long journey, he was not offered a bed for the night. He left with only a few words passing between him and his child. Another Another year passed in the service of her in-laws. Dolphin, now aged 16, was washing clothes at the river when a woman approached, another widow, the unmistakable white sari. The woman was taller and older by some years. She stood over Dolphin, a shadow shading the younger woman from the sun. "Are you the one who tried to poison her mother-in-law?" Dolphin looked up nervously. "Everyone is saying you tried to kill her. Is it true?" Dolphin remained silent. Gossip was rampant here, even dangerous. It wasn't uncommon for a woman to kill for less. The widow then plopped down opposite Dolphin and stared into her face. "I hear you were a witch." Dolphin was about to move off, fearing some insult or worse. "Pity," she smiled, whispered the woman. "The worst ones die last. My name is Purwa. I live over there across the river. The other widows talk about your bravery. Did you know that?" Dolphin had no idea. She had not been outside the interaction of her family. "What poison did you put in the drink?" smiled Purwa. Dolphin found her voice. "No, it wasn't a drink. No. Everyone said it was a drink that she nearly died from the fever. No. No fever? No. Then what?" "She had sent me to the mendicant to get calming balm for her piles. I laced it with chili paste." "No, you didn't." "Yes, I did." "Hey, Bhagwan, the bitch's arsehole must have gone up in flames." Purwa roared with laughter and fell backwards. "My father-in-law beat me, but it was worth it to see her suffer for 3 days." She helped Purwa back to her feet. A friendship bloomed. While washing clothes, they eased their pain by making fun of their oppressors, laughing savagely. Worse still, they defiant, singing wedding songs forbidden to widows. "Maluba me bajela badaya, maluba me bajela badaya." They splashed about and made their veils like brides. In Purwa, Dolphin learned the preciousness of a single phrase: "I am with you, Chotu, little one." The flow of the rivers bring all sorts of unexpected things. One day, a stranger appeared standing on the bank. From his dialect, it was clear he wasn't from these parts. "What's he saying?" asked Dolphin, huddled over her washing. Purwa listened for a bit. "He's looking for men who want to work. Not far away from here, Nato. Something about the sea. Oh, they have to go to the sea." "The sea? The sea? Is he mad? Who has ever seen the sea?" The man finished off by saying, "Tell your sons and brothers." He was careful not to mention husbands. He left. The women finished their washing and returned to their respective abusers. A few days later, the man returned to the same spot. "It's a good life. The British are our fathers and mothers now. They will not ill-treat their children. Men and men," a pause. "And women have gone. They are happy and they have jewelry on their hands and ankles to show for it." A master at work, he let slip at the right moment. Even widows will be accepted. They will no longer be prisoners to their shadows or have to wear white. Why not start a new